Okay, now I'm going to discuss about the access modifiers in Java. So, what are the uses actually access modifiers and what is it? So, the access modifier in Java actually specifies the accessibility or scope of a field. So, I think you guys you use a public, private, protected, or example like public static void main. So, you use a public keyword before public access modifier before your main method, and somewhere you uses private protected in before your class name. So this is actually the access modifier in Java programming. So we'll understand it very well when I'm giving you an example. So there are four kinds of access modifiers. One is private, default, protected, and public. And I will discuss about every access modifiers, giving an example in the next slide. So first we are talking about the private access modifiers. So private access modifiers is actually only accessible only within the class. So here in this example you see that we have two classes, one is class A and another one is class simple. So class A we have two variables, we have two members, one is variable data which is private, and we have a method masses which is also private. Okay, but in the class simple we call these two, we have a main method and we create an object of class A, and then we call the members which is member which is actually resides in the class A. So how I call it? I call it obj.data or obj. Obj is actually the object variable of class A. So obj.data or obj.base. But you see that is actually the compiles error. If you can just write this program and then compile it, and then you also see that is the error message. So why it shows error? Because the members which is actually data and masses which is actually known only in the class A, because in the definitions we have already we told you that the private access modifier is only accessible within that class, but I am calling it from another class. So for that reason it actually cannot access, because private is the most restricted access modifier. Okay, so next is default. Default when we don't use any modifier. That times actually compiler understand that it is actually default modifier. So here you see in a.java example, so we have a class A and we have a method masses msg. So the method actually before that I didn't use any access modifier. So I think you understand it's actually default. For that reason I didn't use anything in here. And in class B, in another package, that means in another program, b.java, here you see that now I'm calling, I'm creating an object of class A, and then I'm calling obj.message. Can you see it? Yes. Okay. So you see here that I'm creating an object in here, right? A obj new A, and then I call it obj.message. So it shows the compile time error. Why it shows the compile time error? Because the default access modifier which is accessible only within the package, but here the package is different. You see the package is here, the package name is package pack, but I didn't yes, package pack, and here the package my pack, and I import the packages in here. You see in this line I import it. I import pack.star. But so I think when I import the packages, then all the programs now is available in this program. But problem is that I use the class and the variable and the methods, that is actually the default access modifier, right? I didn't use anything in here, so it's a default, and default things is actually cannot be accessed by another package, because here the package name is my pack. Okay, so my package actually cannot access the data, so it's restricted for that package. Okay, so now I'm going next slide. Protected. Okay, protected access modifier which is actually accessible within the package, and we can use it another package only by using the subclass. So in the next lesson we will actually try to understand what is actually subclass and what is the concept of superclass. We will talk about the inheritance. You already have some idea, but I will give you give you an elaborate idea on the next video. Okay, fine. So in here the protected method, but we would like to see how actually use the protected method or how to access it. Okay, so in the a.java program, you see that we have a package and we have a class also, and here you see that the message method, before the message method I use a access modifier which is protected. Okay, so we have already seen two access modifiers. One is private, and after that we see if we don't write anything, so it will automatically the default. We have already seen in the previous slides. So now this slide we are seeing what is we are seeing the protected access modifiers. Okay, fine. So for that reason I use protected void message before that. So how actually we call it? Okay, so here actually in the next example you see here. Okay, so here I actually package my pack, and I also import the package pack. Okay, and then here I use a keyword extends. You see, I use keyword extends. So this keyword will actually access this class A. Okay, fine. And then I create an object obj.newb. Okay, fine. So I actually create an object in this class, and then I call the obj.message. Okay, so it can obj.message. So this message method is actually available in here, and we can only use if it is a subclass. So here you see A is actually, here you see A, here is A is actually subclass in here, and sorry, superclass in here, and B is actually subclass in here. So I can, if I use the protected method in this way, okay, so this is the way that I can use one the protected method inside one package from another package. So here the package name is mypack. If I want to access any protected members in another package, then I have to use this way. Okay, I think so you understand. Okay, fine. So next I have the public access modifier, okay, which is less restricted modifier, because if I use the public access modifier which is accessible everywhere. So in this example you see that a.java, I am using public access modifier, public class A, public void message. So public means actually you can access it from anywhere. So if I go to another package, like if I go to another package, that means my pack, then you see that I imported the another packet, and I didn't use any superclass, subclass, don't use anything, but I am directly call, yes, I'm just creating the objects and then call directly the object message method, and message is public, so it can access anywhere. So I think you guys understand. This is actually help us, the access modifier will actually help us to restrict our data. Okay, so the private is most restricted access modifier, whereas the public is actually not so much restricted, because there is no restriction in here. So you can use the public access data, public access modifiers data from anywhere, any places. Okay, thank you so much. So now the last topic in this video is static keyword. So it's a very important topic in Java programming when we are writing program in Java. So static keyword is actually in Java used for the memory management mainly, and we also use the static keyword which is so much related with classes. Okay, so we can directly we don't need to create any objects. We directly call the class names. If like we have a method which is static, so we can directly call that method by using the class names. Okay, fine. So later we see the examples how the static keyword will be used. Okay, so here in this example you see that we have package in the a.java program. We have a package, and we actually see this example before. Okay, fine. So next we would like to understand what are the problems actually without the static variable. Okay, so I want to share with you that if we okay, there is a scenario that I said here, that 500 students in a college and all the members will get memory each time when the object is created. Okay, fine. So all students have its unique roll number and name. Okay, we also have a unique ID and unique name, right? So data member, so the college, here we have another variables, that is the college name, which is the same for all the students, right? So if we the daffodil students, we all have we all have different IDs and name, but our department name is same, right? Or our university name is same. Okay, so when I store this data in the memory, so every time we are taking a roll number or ID number and a name and their corresponding department name or corresponding university name. So the university name is not changed, it's same for all the variables, for all the unique name and ID. Okay, so if I store 500 students data in a memory, so it will take 500 times to store the college name. Okay, so if I want to, but I want to use if you go to the preview next slide, so you understand. So I have two variables, s1 and s2, and sorry, I have two object variables, s1 and s2, and they contains two informations. One is ID 222, name is Aryan, and another one is ID 11, name is Karan, but their college name is ITS. Okay, so if I don't use if I'm not using the static keyword, then it will actually several times, how many times actually store the data in the database or in the memory, it will different times, it will number of times it stores the college name. Okay, so if I have 500 records, then it will store 500 times the college name, but we don't need it. We just use one variable and then store the college name or university name, then we connect all the IDs and names with that college names. So it will actually not too much memory. I think you understand. Okay guys, so how actually we solve this problem? So here you see, here we have a class student, we have a roll number, and we have a name, and then you see the college name ITS, which variable we declared as static, right? You see, before string we use a static keyword. Okay, and then we have a constructor, because we use a student method in here, so the name is same as the class name. Okay, and then we have a method void display. Okay, so in the right side you see we have a class test static variable, and then here we use the main method, and we have two object variables in here. We actually create two objects, s1 and s2, 11 Karyan and 222 Aryan. You have already see the figures in the next slide. Okay, so now I call s1.display and s2.display. Okay, so here you see these two objects actually call the same method, display method. And what is actually what is the output of the display method? You see here I call three variables, system.out.print, and you see here I call roll number, name, and college. Okay, so here roll number and name, they will, that is different, it is different from one another, so it will take the memories different memory locations, but the college is actually in one locations, and it will actually locate, the static variable will actually manage these things, and it will not actually not enough storage data, because it will actually link on that college for every participants or for every students in a college. So it will actually manages the memory. Okay, so how we actually use the Java static method in here? So we can use, here is another example which will help you to understand how we actually use the method name, the static keyword before the method name. So here also another method, you see here the change, before that we use the static method, and we have a constructor also, and then in the right side you see that we are calling the same way, the s1.display, s2.display. We have three instances, or we have three object variables in here, so we call three yes, we call three the same display methods calling by the three object variables. Okay, so here are the uses of the static methods. I think you understand, guys. So thanks for watching this video. Allah Hafiz.